What's going on, beautiful people? We are back again with another Mental Max Out podcast. I'm your host, Akeem Robinson. And for those of you joining us for the first time, thanks for checking it out. Mental Max Out is all about helping people change their perspectives, think differently, and get out of the hole. If you're back again, I celebrate your willingness to continue growing and challenging your mind. Remember, if you like what you hear today, make sure you hit that subscribe button or whatever platform you're listening from. Share it with a friend and follow us on social media at Mental Max Out Podcast. What's going on, beautiful people? We are back again. We're glad you're back.
So glad. Happy Lovers Week to all who celebrate. It is officially the week of Valentine's Day. And if you're listening to this and you did not know, PSA, Valentine's Day is on Friday. Buy your flowers now before they get up priced.
Yeah, it's that thing you're going to have to commit to it. You might be thinking to yourself, ugh, Valentine's Day. But you got to do it. You have to either say it, write the card, think of the lovely thoughts, and put it all together because, like she said, it's Friday and you don't want your significant other being like, you ain't got no excuse because they ain't no work the next day. So just be proactive and think about where you're going to take your partner and give them all the love. With words, kindness, and everything. You know, when we first started this and we were like, hey, let's do a series on love, we were really saying to ourselves, like, what are things we can bring up that people kind of miss or overlook? And time was one of those things. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, time? How is that related to love? And I'll be honest with you, it has a lot to do with love because I think time sometimes gets put into a place where the longer I'm going to be with my partner, things will get better because time is going to help us understand each other. And it's almost like I'm using the excuse of time to be better. I'm using that excuse that because we're going to be spending so much time with each other, of course I'm going to learn more about them. Of course I'm going to know what they like and their ins and outs because we are going to be around each other. But I'll be honest with you, that is just the minimum. The time you spend with each other is not necessarily going to equate to the more you get to know each other.
And I think we do this with everything. We're always thinking to ourselves, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. Because we've become so accustomed to the go, 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 and we're so busy and we have a lot going on at work. We have a lot going on at home, the kids, the this, the that. And it's when you start talking about, oh, pouring into my relationship. Well, I already got them. We're already married. Why would I spend my time doing that, right? It's like, why spend time baking a cake that's already baked? But in reality, every day you're continuing to add ingredients to that cake. Every day, sorry, Serena's trying to jump rope with this cord right now. Every day you're trying to grow and change with your partner, right? So your cake truly is never baked. It's like when you read a recipe and it's like, oh, only add 1 teaspoon of garlic. And you're like, nah, I need more garlic. Because sometimes your relationship's going to need more and sometimes it's going to need less. And if we're constantly thinking to ourselves, I don't have any time, then we're not able to pour into that relationship.
Let me help you guys out because, you know, one of the things that I've been learning and experiencing, people will always say, well, how do you do it? And even with us talking about time, people will say things like, okay, well, what exactly does that mean? Let's take the word time out and actually look at other words that get replaced with time, like the word busy. We will say all the time, we're too busy to do that. Well, because I'm at work all day, I'm very busy. How have you been? Well, busy. We say it so much. The excuse is you have no time to pay attention to anything else. You have no time to be proactive in your relationship and actually be considerate or involved in your relationship because I'm too busy. But are you really?
You're so right, because we get so caught up in this rat race of all the things that you have to do that sometimes pouring into our relationship seems like the last possible thing that we should be spending our time doing. And in reality, it's this small piece where you could spend 1 hour with a partner and that will gain 1 week of cup being filled. Your partner's cup will be filled for the whole week or the whole month just because you chose to spend an hour with them at the end of the day instead of scrolling on your phone. Because I think that one of the things that we look at is time is not a 3-day vacation to Cancun, going to South Africa for a week, or Europe on a 2-week backpacking trip. It's not these big, elaborate, expensive date night things that we always think about. Sometimes it's 5 extra minutes in the morning, going on a quick drive together somewhere where you're able to truly, truly be intentional. Like we talked about 4 weeks ago, being intentional with your partner goes a long way.
When we have it in conversation all the time, we lose sight of it. And you said, filling your cup. What are the small investments of time you're willing to make to help fill your partner's cup? Sometimes that might be 5 minutes. That might be more intentionality. But in order to sometimes fill your partner's cup, you're going to have to sacrifice something. It might even be your own time, your own personal time, 5 minutes of something else you were planning on doing in order to fill your partner's cup. And that's the thing. When we're talking about time and intentionality, these are all stitched together in order to build and continue to fill your partner's cup. Because when you're talking about that, that's just not a one-time thing.
Exactly. And it doesn't take a lot of time to say, hey, babe, I'm thinking about you today. Your butt looks fantastic in those leggings. That doesn't take a whole lot of time, but it's a way to show affection, and it's a way to allow your partner to know, hey, I am truly, truly hoping to be intentional with you in that moment, because I think we often think that we're spending time with our partner because they're sitting next to us on the couch watching TV, or we're spending time with our partner because we say good morning and we talk to them while we get ready. But what are we really doing in those moments that is quality, right? There's a difference between time and quality time. And quality time is that currency that you and your partner understand, hey, this is us. This is not being roommates and passing in the night and taking care of the kids and blah, blah, blah. No. What does quality time mean to your partner? Because if you don't have those conversations and you don't understand what your partner views as quality time, they're paying in dollars and you're paying in euros. And you're constantly trying to make it add up when it's always going to be off by 1 or 2 cents because you're trying to pay in different currency.
Bars. That was so awesome in how you explain that, because when you're talking about time, it is a currency. And I love that analogy, because when you're talking about two different people involved in a relationship, what kind of currency are you spending? Then that means you're investing your time. When you know their ins and outs, then that means you're spending your time getting to know them. And it's things that we say all the time. And I know it's kind of like, okay, I get it. But no, these are conversations and things that happen every moment of the day that we can lose sight of. And we sometimes take it for granted. Anytime you're involved with someone, it is an investment or an exchange of how you're willing to spend time with that person. And if you're just wasting your time like you would waste money on purchasing something, they're not going to be interested when things start to turn for a more deeper conversation that you're having, or when you're running into tough times and you need to talk about it. They're not going to know how to approach you because y'all been wasting so much time together.
Would you rather have more energy or more time? Because a lot of people say, oh, I just don't have the energy. I don't have the energy. I could, but I'm too exhausted.
That's a great question, because I don't want more time. I have enough. I have enough. And I think, at first glance, a lot of people will look at that question and say, oh, definitely more time. But I really think it's like you would choose that more energy, because, again, it's where are you willing to put it? Are you willing to put more energy into scrolling? Are you willing to put more energy into helping your partner around the house? Where are you going to put the energy? Because I can give you more time, but you might waste it. I can give you more energy, but you're not going to spend it wisely. So I think both of them really truly come down to a choice and how we're willing to utilize that time with our partner. Because the one thing I think we fail to look at is we think we're going to get tomorrow with them. We just think we're going to get this abundance of time with our partner. And truly, like, it's not set in stone like that. Like, you're gifted with this person for a limited time.
Well, and we say in the professional world all the time, time management, time management. It's important to have time management. And it's such a corporate professional statement that how well are we at time management in our personal, in our relationships, in our home, right? Are we managing our time wisely to maximize what we want? Because yes, you have to manage your time to get one kid to soccer practice and the other to baseball and to music lessons and then still cook dinner and be at home and get everybody bathed in bed by, by a certain time. Yes, of course. But what about time management for the things that fill your cup? Are you carving out 10 minutes in the morning to talk to your partner? Maybe your partner's not a morning person. Are you calling them on your lunch break and talking to them for 20 minutes about what's going on in your day so you don't have to debrief at the end of the day when you're both exhausted? Where are those areas in your day that you can carve in for your partner every day, every other day, multiple times a week in order to make sure that you are truly, truly being intentional about the time that you have?
There's a thought process that goes with this as well, right? And not only do you think you get an abundance of it, but we heard this week someone say there's no such thing as work-life balance. There's no such thing as balance of your time. Like that's such a misconception. And I think we truly go into a relationship with somebody and we say, "Oh, you compliment me. You have qualities that I don't have. So you should balance me out. The things that I lack will help balance me out." And that's not the case because there is no such thing as that. Throughout your entire relationship, you have to make a decision on where you're going to spend that time. Is that emotionally with this person, spiritually, physically? And you're figuring that out while they are also figuring themselves out. And so there is a grace period. There's a time period that you have to decipher, when do I move in here and when do I back off here? In all of that, it's not even to try to find balance, but it's just to try to make it to the end of the day that you can say we're still in a relationship with each other.
And you really don't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, we have bought these tabletop card games from TJ Maxx or Home Goods, especially during Christmas season. They have them as stocking stuffers. And it's just a box of questions to ask your partner. And they don't have to be anything deep. We have them here and they ask questions. They might say, "What were the reasons we fell in love? What's your favorite scent? Which friends have relationships most like ours? Is there something you'd love to see your partner wear?"
Ooh.
Akeem and I like these, and we started these a couple years ago because it was $3.99. They sit on our coffee table, and sometimes after a long day, we're both exhausted. And I'm gonna tell you right now, we don't really care to be engaged in deep conversation. I don't want to fill space. We don't want to have fluff, but I want to spend time with my partner. I just don't really have anything to say. We'll sit here after scrolling on our phones for an hour, and one of us will pick up the card game, pick something random, and we'll just start. And we'll just start having these conversations. What's your favorite scent? How did we fall in love? And then what that does is it allows us to have a conversation that we otherwise wouldn't have had. Sometimes I get my feet rubbed during the process. It's awesome. But it allows us to have unforced quality time because we're not just sitting here looking at each other saying, "What do you want to talk about?" I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
That's so good because another thing that we try to do is when we debrief our day, we'll just be looking at each other and we say, "What's your happy and what's your crappy?" So again, that can be a 2-minute conversation. That conversation can go into a deeper level of conversation by just saying, "What was the happiest part of your day? What was the crappiest part of your day? What was the happiest part of your weekend? What was the crappiest part of your weekend?" And in that, that's an investment that you're willing to spend with this person and getting to know that person. And it was free. It was engaging. It was a way to actually ask your partner how they're feeling without making them feel uncomfortable. And it started with a simple question. One of the things that I think when we think about this dangerous word of time is sometimes we can use it, like I said earlier, in the word of busy, but we can also use it in a negative way when we come into arguments with our partners. Because we come into arguments with our partners, especially me, and I have to watch myself. I might be the only one, but we might say these dangerous words that are linked to time. You always say that. And when we say always, that's linking time to something. And that person could be changing. But when you say something like that, you completely negate the growth they may be having, the progress they've made. You never, when you say you never, again, that's a word that's linking time to something in a way diminishing what your partner has probably made a lot of strive to change. we have to be careful of how we use certain words to describe our partners because that can connect them to times and moments that we don't want to link them to.
We always want to be growing. And so at the end of the day, when we put those labels on our partner that they always or they never, you start to project that spiral onto your partner where they feel like if I'm always that way, then I'm not going to change. If I'm always that way, then I'll never be able to be anything different. And Akeem and I have had really difficult conversations as it relates to this because when your partner says something to you, you make a mental note, right? It's like an inside out when they have those memory balls, right? You make
Yeah,
you
yeah.
make one of those and you want to remember it. Okay, they said they didn't like this, so I'm not going to do this again. But as we grow and change, like we talked about a few weeks ago, our boundaries change. What we need changes. And so if you're taking these things as law, it can be really challenging for your partner to still feel like they have the space to grow. So when we have conversations about things, we try really hard not to put timestamps on it because we're constantly changing individuals who want the liberty to be different every single day, every hour, every minute. I mean, we have left the house to go out to eat. And before we get to the stop sign, I tell Akeem where I want to go. And before we get to the highway, I have since changed my mind. This is an 8-minute drive from our door to the highway. And then we'll get on the highway and I'll tell him, I really don't want to go here, but we're already going in the direction on the highway and we can't turn around for 15 miles. So I guess we're just stuck. I guess we can't go anywhere. And that's a tough place to live in. And I bring that story up to say we don't want our partners and we don't want to feel as partners like we have to be stuck. And when we're not spending time with our partners, when we're projecting things on our partners, we might feel stuck.
I love that. We might feel stuck. And I really believe that there's people out there now that have been traveling on that same road knowing they need to turn around. They know they're going in the wrong direction, but they feel as if they can't say anything because the foundation has been set so long ago that they don't think they have a space to say something new and go somewhere different. And that's not the case. Like, it starts small. It starts with just a question here or there, and you build on a new foundation. But if you continue to build on a direction that's not heading in a good place and you stay there, you're not going to like those results.
You stop time by adding time. Because if you're somebody who feels stuck and you feel like you're in this constant state going in a direction that you don't want to go in with your partner, with your family, with your friendships, whatever, and you feel like you can't stop it, it's time to add some time back in. It's time to reach out to these individuals and have conversations and be intentional and spend quality time talking about what you want to see, what you want to be different, how you want to grow, how you want to change, right? We're not mind readers. We can't read our partner's mind. So for the last 10 years, you might be feeling like things are all fine and dandy and sunshine and rainbows, but your partner's not feeling that. But you won't know that until they start spending time with you, being willing to say the hard things.
Okay, okay. You can't be the only one dropping bars. Woman said you stop time by adding time. Dang. Well, I'm gonna give you a bar. I'm gonna give you a bar. Staying in one place too long is not always good. Meaning, if you're comfortable for a really long time, that's not good in a relationship. If there's tension for a really long time, that's not always good. And there's situations in our relationship where we can feel these things. And sometimes people really think, oh, we're really good. It's really good. How do you know that? Have you and your partner been talking? If things are comfortable, how do you know that? Have you and your partner been talking? Have you and your partner been growing? Has there truly been, hey, like, what are we trying to do in this year? It's good to be comfortable, but staying there too long, can that mean somebody's just became complacent? Does that mean that somebody's then stopped chasing what they've been trying to go after for such a long time? Spending too much time in one place can sometimes be dangerous as well.
They do all types of crazy surveys and things like that, right? And they ask people who go to amusement parks, do you prefer roller coasters or the spinny rides?
Okay.
Okay.
Neither for me.
But most people prefer roller coasters because when you're on spinning rides, you are more likely to get sick and, get dizzy and have all these things. I think our relationship sometimes feels like a spinny ride. We get in the same old, we get in our routines, and we just feel like we're constantly on the centrifuge of just spinning, 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 spinning of the fair ride versus taking on maybe the more intimidating option of the roller coaster where you're going to be up, you're going to be down, you're going to have highs, you're going to have lows, you're going to twist and turn and go upside down. And yes, it's scarier. There's more to it, but you're less likely to get sick. And what I mean by that is if you're someone feels like you're in the same old, can't grow, that never has time to hang out with their partner, never has time for these conversations, then you're probably a spinny ride kind of person.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Look at
Mhm.
the ride that you're on and assess if you like that ride. One of the things you mentioned was, are you a roller coaster ride or a spinny like ride? And like I said, I'm neither one. But the one thing I do enjoy about those theme parks are they're constantly changing. They're constantly reevaluating, adding new parts, new sections to it to make it better. And that should be the thing. Like when me and you got together, I wasn't trying to change you. I was trying to better understand you. So when you run into moments where you're stressed, you're upset, you're not having things go your way, I'm not trying to have you think like me. I'm trying to understand your ride. That does come with time, but it comes with an intentionality of how I use it and how I'm willing to spend it. Am I willing to get to know her? And then when I'm willing to get to know her, I'm willing to understand how she tries to get out of the situation. Sometimes she needs me, and sometimes I have to be willing to take a step back for her to figure out how she does that. So that's just an assessment, but you utilize that of how you spend it.
I love that. In honor of Valentine's Day,
Oh,
I'm going to put you in the hot seat. And I'm going to ask you Valentine's Day related hot seat questions
here we go.
that people want to know.
Here we go, fellas.
What is the cheesiest pickup line you've ever used or heard?
The cheesiest pickup line I've ever used or heard. Well, mine's is kind of, I guess, gross. Somebody came up to me one time and was like, "When are you going to put a bun in this oven?" And I was like, "Ew, gross."
That's good. That's good. If you could plan the perfect Valentine's date with an unlimited budget, what would it be?
Unlimited budget.
Yeah, tell me. I want to know.
Yeah, seriously, unlimited budget. We're probably gonna fly somewhere with our friends so they can watch Serena. We're gonna have us a quick breakfast. My favorite meal of the day is breakfast, by the way. It's hands down the best meal. Challenge me on it, whatever. I know there's a lot of you that agree with that same thing. Dinner's very overrated. Lunch is okay, but get me with a breakfast and maybe even a brunch all day, every day. But anyways, we'll go to probably someplace like island-wise. I like the Caribbeans.
Oh,
Do
I like
that.
this.
Yeah. I'll do
All
that.
right. I got high hopes for future Valentine's days. Would you rather receive 100 love notes or 100 chocolates on Valentine's Day?
Candy all day, easy.
Okay.
Give me that. I thought it was money when she said 100, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll take that too.
What's the most embarrassing thing you've done to impress a crush?
I'm very lame, so I really haven't done anything of that nature. I think back in like elementary school, I wrote the note. The note with the 3 boxes.
Check yes, check no.
Well,
maybe.
you know what I did? You know what I did?
Check
No.
yes or no.
Here, in real time, this is what I did. I said on a scale of 1 to 10, what would be the chances of me and you dating? I wrote this on a note, and the person put down -100.
Oh no, honey, I'm sorry.
And then I looked
It wasn't me.
It wasn't her. And I looked at that person and I said, "So you're saying there's still a chance?"
So you're saying there's still a chance. What's your go-to romantic movie or guilty pleasure rom-com?
The Waterboy. And the Bourbon Bowl. It's not a rom-com, but I mean, he falls in love at the end and it's still funny. So to me, it like falls into that same category.
Whatever, get your heart pumping, babe.
Yeah, just let me live my life. All right, here we go. If you had to describe love using only 3 words, what would they be?
Hard, constant, and joyful.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not what we're looking. That is not on the board. No. Okay. What's the weirdest or most unexpected thing you find attractive in someone?
Something weird that I find attractive in another person is their taste in food, like their taste buds, because I think that it's really interesting and I think people's taste buds tell a lot about them.
I don't think women have a clue what they think they like. They're like, "I like beards and tattoo." I'm like, that isn't like a part of the person. But I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. If your love life were a song, what would the title be?
The one-hit wonder.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know if that's good or bad. I don't know if that's good or bad for me, but pray for your boy. I am the one wonder. Oh Lord. Hey, Lord, boy.
Because you're my first serious boyfriend. So, I married my first serious boyfriend.
But people can take that in so many ways and be like, he out here one hit wonder. And like, I'm sorry. It's still PG, but I'm just saying the people can take that a lot of places. Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Right. I get it. Sure. One hit wonder. What's the best or worst Valentine's gift you ever received?
Growing up, my mom used to bring home Papa Murphy's take and bake heart-shaped pizza, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Was that best or worst? Which category did that fall into?
The best. Mom. Hi, Mom.
Oh, I thought she was going after you like Kendrick Lamar is going
Hi,
after
Mom.
Drake. This shots fired. I'm like, man, if you could give your past self one piece of dating advice, what would it be?
Be patient and don't settle.
I don't know if people listening to this would be like, after listening, but I promise you, it's really good. Relationships are really good.
I think about myself pre-marriage, right? And I think a lot of times you get into this headspace of wanting to find the one, and this person's going to be the one. And like you start to tell yourself this person's the one, even though deep, deep, deep down in your gut that they're not, but you settle because you're impatient and you want to get married and you want to have children and you want to do all these things. And I think that it's important to be patient and not settle.
Bars. I love it. And I love the fact that you've stayed with us for this 4-part series on different perspectives of love. And hopefully you come back and you tell a friend, because I'm telling you, we're just only digging in our bag more and more.
We hope that you have a lovely week. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yeah!
Thank you for joining us on this exciting episode of Mental Max Out. We hope today's discussion has empowered you with the insights and tools to overcome the challenges of depression, fear, and doubt. Always remember that you have a support system on this journey, and every step you take is a step forward towards victory. If you found this episode helpful, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. We greatly appreciate your feedback as it allows us to continually provide you with the content that is most valuable to you. Stay connected with us on Instagram at Mental Max Out Podcast for a constant source of motivation, helpful advice, and a supportive community. Until the next time, keep pushing forward and remember, you have the strength within you to max out your potential. Take care and stay strong.